Hello, everybody. Here we are, Ron and Hope. Unfiltered, real, raw, and relevant.
I can't see those three words together, so y'all let you say
he
them.
has a bowl of cereal right now.
It's really not. It smells amazing.
Like
doesn't
Fruit Loops,
it?
right?
It does. It smells just like Fruit Loops, and I can't have Fruit Loops anymore because I'm kind of lactose intolerant, but it was good in the day.
You are not lactose intolerant. But anyway, we are here today. It's exciting. We have a family edition. We have our children.
This is our peeps.
And our in-laws who are our children. So we are so excited to have everybody here.
And introduce everybody to our podcast.
Sure. All right, let's start with this little couple right here. Who are you guys?
So Chase is our oldest.
I'm Jordan. I am this one's wife, which
This is our
oldest.
This is Erskine Chase. Erskine Chase.
You go by Chase.
Carpenter.
Chase.
He goes by Chase, yeah. And
the baby who did not require much rest
No,
or
he
sleep.
didn't.
Yep.
No.
He did not require
he
much
rocked
rest.
our world in a major way.
Still kind of that way.
But,
Yeah, I was about to say.
but he was so cute.
He had a mullet.
Oh, he had a long curly
He had a curly mullet. He did, and he had shoes that lit up on the bottom.
And he stomped them
And
everywhere.
he stomped them everywhere to make them light up.
Yeah, he did.
This side,
This side.
we have I have my youngest. We have my baby girl, Chanlin, her husband Drew, and two grandbabies.
That's Brian Andrew.
Two grandbabies.
He's a professional guitarist.
Everybody here actually works on the staff some way or another. And then we got Chaz, my middle son, and he's joining us by Zoom. You say, why ain't he in the room? It's because we have two coasts, and we're on the East Coast, we're on the West. And he's still on the West Coast at our campus there. He's project management. And me and Hope are on the East Coast where all the rest of our family serves on staff members, whether it be creative arts, pastoral care, special events. We got everybody doing a little bit of everything.
Everybody just pitches in.
So this is our family, and we wanted to get together, and my wife made me nervous when she told me we was going to do a family event. I said, you know what? I don't want everybody to know where we screwed up and did wrong and weren't any good and everything else, but we're going to try to be real, raw,
And what, Chase?
and
Irrelevant. Oh, no.
Relevant. We do not want to be irrelevant, people.
all right.
Okay.
So you're leading this,
I'm going
leader.
to lead this, Chief. I'm the chief here. So let's talk about growing up in the Carpenter household. Let's talk about it.
Well, I didn't grow up in the household.
No, you didn't, but these three
A
did.
A little bit.
A little bit.
did live with us a little while.
I
You
did
basically
grow- I
did because you entered our household at 15.
As
There wasn't that early,
16.
was it?
No, I was
16.
16.
Yeah,
16?
and I was
15. She was 16.
Okay.
It was a young
Yes.
love
Yeah.
moment, and
Yes,
I
it
did,
was.
and I moved in.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
I did.
So Chase, tell us about growing up. What's some of your fun memories? We were talking about some of these earlier. We were sitting here laughing, talking about all this fun stuff. What about when Chaz stabbed you?
That's a good one right there.
Yeah, I don't know about a stab. It was a good slice.
Good slice.
What did you do it with? Was it
No,
a piece of glass?
we were sitting in that little extra room we had.
TV room,
yeah,
yeah.
and
Remember those old things that would stand up
It
and
was
you'd
like
have
a-
a bowl and
and
it'd
it
have
would-
foam, like water and like fog come out of
Yeah,
it,
that's what it was.
but it was broken.
It was a meditation bowl. That's
A
what it was.
meditation bowl. So Chase, tell us what happened.
I mean, we were just sitting there on the couch, and then I can't remember what I was doing, but Chaz was beside me.
Minding your own business.
Yeah, Chaz was beside me, and he had a broken piece of glass, and it was like had a little hook on it. And I just remember him just going right to my left arm, and I looked down, and all of a sudden blood just started coming. and I didn't know
I
what
was
to do.
messing with it. I was looking at the steam, and I picked up it was like one of them little marble things, and it had broke. And then I remember that it was him and someone else sitting on the couch.
Why'd you cut him?
And I was playing with it, and I sat down, and I mean, it took him like that.
It was just an urge.
I mean, it was a long time ago, and like I said, I wasn't really paying attention. All I know is that.
But what happened after that?
So we told
Did
you
we
to be
get
Well,
stitches?
I just came downstairs, and I remember blood was just coming off my fingertips, and I just was like, "Mom, Dad, Chaz." I was like, "Chaz cut me," and then I come upstairs, and then I saw Mom's face. She was like, "Oh my
patched it up.
God!"
have a massive
patched
And
it
then,
up.
I still have a scar,
I didn't
but
mean to.
I just remember going downstairs. I'm not sure if Chaz got in trouble or what, but
Probably not.
they put a a gauze and then wrapped it, and then we went to the boat and RV show.
He said, then we went to the boat and RV show.
Look, yo, I still have a scar running up the side of my finger right here because me and Chase was at sports club with Dad, and he said he'd give us something if we raced to the car. If we raced to the car, we'd win something, money or whatever. And me and Chase took off, and as soon as I got to the car, my finger got caught in the front of the Suburban grill, and it just, as I kept running, it just peeled the skin right off my finger. And I remember right after that, the church building on Haywood Road was still being built. So me and Chase were little. So right after that, Dad, I don't know what Dad did. He just put like a T-shirt on or something.
I taught my children to be tough.
We don't,
right.
we don't go to the hospital very much here.
No, we don't. Chase said it was the worst pain he'd ever been in his life. Walking around the boat show, it was throbbing and squirting out blood, and Dad was looking at boats.
My face didn't say it, but inside I was hurting.
He lost about a pint of blood that day.
Chandler, what about you? What's some of your memories?
I grew up with 2 older brothers. It was just,
It was vicious.
yeah.
The knee drop. We've got to talk about the knee drop.
Who knee dropped you?
Chaz knee dropped me on the trampoline. Chaz hurt us.
Come on, man.
Chaz hurt us.
Come on, man.
Chaz played too much Mortal Kombat, okay? Like,
Chaz played Tekken all day, then he wanted to do it to Chandler.
yeah, he had to practice.
He didn't want to do it with me, though.
No, he didn't.
I know, my voice is gone. It's
So what
hard
would he
to
knee
talk.
drop? How did he do that?
We were on the trampoline and we would wrestle and fight and all kinds of stuff. And I just remember him being like, hey, Ken. And he'd call me like Ken or Kenny G my whole life. Like
her
the
name's
saxophone player.
Chandlin.
He called me Kenny G. So he'd be like, hey, Kenny, come over here. He was like, I want to do something. And so I was little, like I'm only like 5'2", okay? So he picks me up, raises me over his head, and he gets on one knee and just drops me on my back, like
And you're
straight to his
4.
knee, like
He saw that
KO.
on WWE.
Yeah.
Chaz got up and said, "You're all right, Kenny."
KO. He got up and said nothing. He never checked on me, got up and said nothing, just ran off the trampoline going,
So
and I
you
was
were
there
Kenny.
like, I was Kenny. He
And
was
he was Muck
Brett.
Nine.
No, he was Brett Michael Michaels and Muck Nine.
Chaz, I got to ask you, where did you come up with these names? Like, how did you come up with this?
I'm pretty good at
It's like
that.
it's one of them things where you look at someone and you think for a minute and it just comes to you.
They just look like something.
So
You
look,
look like it. You know,
Chaz.
they look like they should be that name.
So Chaz, look at Jordan. What should she be?
That's too
You can't see us.
See,
do it on
Can't
the
put him on the
spot.
spot
just
like
think
that.
about
It
Jordan.
has
What
to
should
come
she
over
be?
time.
No, you got. No,
It has to be
those take time.
spontaneously.
Those take time.
Okay.
It's been 11 years.
I know, but
I would call Jordan UFC.
yeah.
UFC.
No, he calls Jordan Savage.
Savage,
Oh,
yeah.
Tyson.
Or Tyson.
Those
yes.
three.
Yeah.
Jordan and Remy.
Jordan's a
Savage.
strong woman.
And Drew's sitting over here quiet because he's like, I'm not even sure I want to be a part of all this anymore.
Drew's thinking.
I sound
my
lucky
family
to
was
have
nice.
Chandlin here.
I know, right? Drew's just glad she
You're
made
lucky
it through
Chandlin
all
made it
that
all the way to
trauma.
you.
Right?
Drew's like, I have no scars.
No, he's thinking of all the things he did to Brianna, his sister. Were you vicious like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I threw rocks.
Yeah, I threw rocks. Oh, God.
Rocks as a child.
But she was pretty vicious too,
stoned her.
right?
All right, in our family, we believed in spanking. Chase, do you remember a bunch of spankings?
Oh, Chase, did you get your butt?
It was like it was a big thing whenever we would get spankings.
would all
And no,
huddle
because
around
most of the time,
That was when y'all would come together.
but most of the time, there were times, a lot of times where I got spanked like by myself.
Oh, I'm sure.
But there
We'd
was
have
a lot of times
corporate
whenever-
spankings.
The ones that I remember was when me and Chaz would have to get spanked together, and my dad would bring us in a room,
Oh, God.
and then he'd like make us like sit
hold the
down.
end of the
He'd make
bed.
us like sit down. He'd give us the little spiel.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, "All right, Chase, you're up." So Chaz would have to sit there and watch me get spanked, and we'd be sitting there. Dad's wearing us out, and me and Chaz were sitting there. Chaz were just laughing the whole
Staring at
time,
each other.
and
That
then
would make me mad.
and that would make him more mad, and then Yeah, it was.
What about Chaz when he would get spanked? You remember him pulling his feet up?
He was a rope. He was a rope.
Dad would do.
Well, the thing is over time you learn countermeasures.
He would do side laterals with Chaz and to hold him up.
Learned to counteract.
So spanking, that was your story. What about you, Chandler?
She never got
Oh,
spanked.
what about the creek?
Oh, yeah. So, like I said, I had 2 older brothers, all boys on both sides were cousins. So I just got drug around to a lot of situations that I didn't want to be in. But we had
right.
I know, poor
You wanted
me.
to be- you
Poor
wanted to be there.
me.
You
Poor
totally
me.
did.
I think you wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I still have, okay, I gotta,
I'm blowing your cover a little bit.
yeah,
but
you
go
are.
ahead.
You're blowing my cover. But we had a creek in a neighborhood where we grew up, and we'd go down there, but we knew, you know, kind of stay within these boundaries. And Chase, I remember one time, I was like, what, 4? I was 4. And Chase, you would be 8, so you were like, hey, I found this place, let's go. Like, it's got a huge, you liked rocks. Like, you were like, it's just got a big rock in the middle of it, and we can swim out. And we started like just going farther and farther, wandering. And we went through, what were those holes, like the
Water. It was the big concrete water.
yeah,
Water tunnels.
Terracotta.
yeah, like we went through
ones
the
that go underneath the
tunnels.
ground?
Yes.
We went through the tunnels. We were gone. I had no clue, and I just remember at
Hours.
some
We were on
point,
an adventure.
That would be like our boys, right? That'd be like
With
Zayden
Remy,
and Kellen
taking
taking
Remy.
them.
yeah. And so I just remember at some point, like I just got nervous, and I like started crying. I was like, I
Was Chaz
can't.
there?
All 3 of us.
Yes,
You
they
missed
were.
your mom.
And I was like, I can't go back on my own. I have no clue where I'm at. Like, I like remember trying to think through it. I was like, I can't turn back. I'm too far gone. They won't come back with me, so I just have to go. But I was like, if we don't go back now, we're destroyed when we get home. Like I knew
Did
it.
it rain or something?
No, that was a different time. We took Chandler out into a lightning storm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's.
That was a good one.
It was.
That was
it
nice.
Long story
a
short,
reoccurrence.
when we get back, there's like police. People are
Yes.
yelling in the neighborhood trying to find us.
We called the police.
Yeah, because it was forever. Like we were gone. We
I
were
was
like
when you
neighborhoods
scream
away.
for an hour
For our babies,
and you
yes.
can't hear, nobody answers
We were
you.
neighborhoods
I
away.
didn't let Chandler get away from me for a long period of time.
Yeah.
The boys, I was used to them kind of wandering, but not my little
Yeah,
girl.
I couldn't imagine.
We'd be in the woods with power tools.
So the
Yeah, but I didn't like it.
The
I didn't like it.
police.
Chase and Chaz are building with a,
We'd
with
be in the
a,
woods like
with a saw.
Jeez. So the
your
police are
nail
there.
guns going off.
The police are there, but Chandler still.
Long story short, I explained all this to them at 4 years old. I'm like, I didn't want to be there. I wanted to come home. They wouldn't take me. And so they get their spankings first. Remember, corporate spankings. We're all watching each other. And so I'm last. And Dad goes out with the boys, and he tells Mom to kind of handle it. And she's watching me cry. I like saw her hesitate. She goes, just pretend to, like you're crying. Just pretend to scream. No,
was another
she did
one.
it too. You both did it to me. Yours was on
We
the
would
side of
do
the
that to
bathtub.
Remy.
You did it on the side
Yeah.
of the bed.
So that's what's wrong with Chandler today. She didn't get her spankings.
We always.
Sorry, baby.
Okay.
Sorry, baby.
a revelation.
It is. It's
Drew's
a great revelation.
the lights are coming on in Drew's mind right now. He's getting revelation of everything. One more thing, and then we'll switch questions. Do y'all remember the day I crashed your freaking dune buggy?
I'm slightly,
I was
honestly don't
outside.
remember.
Chandler had just gotten off
He was
of the
riding me.
go-kart. And so then
Yeah.
Ron just takes it
It
for a
was a dune
spin.
buggy. It had roll bars and everything. It was
And
crazy.
the brakes went out. The brakes went out.
And I launched it into a
Yeah.
construction site.
What it was is our neighborhood was just literally just one road and then a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And then so he was riding down, and then it was kind of a hill going towards the cul-de-sac, and then there was a house. Right there, and behind the house was the creek, but he went down. I was in the cul-de-sac, and I remember him just like putting his thumb up,
Look at me.
putting his thumb up at me, and I was like, go for it, Dad. You know, and then and all of a sudden,
The brakes went out.
he went down and hit the curb, and all of a sudden, it just
You're like,
and then I'm like freaking out, and then my
rolled it
dad
in over in.
then my dad's starts walking up the hill, and he's holding it, and you can see his bone in his
I just
wrist.
remember being like walked away. That's all I remember.
My rib, I thought I was hurt bad. I remember I cracked my ribs, but I remember that. I've never done that before. I couldn't breathe.
Ambulance came.
So I
and-
thought, I was like, man, I've done something bad here. face had meat pulled off side. I was bleeding. My arm was tore all to pieces.
Broke your wrist, right?
Oh man, broke it like in 4 places and stuff. They wanted to put screws in it, and I wouldn't let them. And I
But you
can't
took
write.
one for the team. You
And
took
then,
it
and
for
then
Chandler.
we got old tapes of me preaching. I'm walking around preaching with my arm in a sling. My arm's in a cast. Ask some of these other questions.
Chaz,
'Cause I know we got
let me
things.
ask you, Chaz, what would you say the difference in your mom and dad, the major differences would be between your dad, being raised by your dad, being raised by your mom? Same house.
One let you get away with everything. One
What?
did not.
I'd say mom on depends on like what it was more lenient on some things, and then dad was probably more strict on some others. But it wasn't really like big stuff. Some of it would just be like small stuff. Like little things like games we could play or like music we could listen to
Or Pop-Tarts under your bed.
Chaz didn't
Yes.
get in trouble much, so he should have gave me that question.
Okay, let me
I'm just
ask you.
kidding.
Let me ask you. What's the difference between your mom and dad growing up?
Well, I would always come to you for
Money, things.
Chase was the wedger. He would bring the wedge in the marriage.
no.
He would come and ask mom.
play you
He would
guys.
work mama. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I just felt like I'd always had some favor in my mother's eyes.
Being the firstborn.
Yeah. So I don't know. I always would, but I would if there was something that I did that was wrong, I would always go to my dad though.
Yeah.
Like for something like if it was like something big that was really bothering me, like I would always go to him. I wouldn't ever really try to hide it. But just for like little certain things, like wanting to go over to a friend's house or spend the night on a school night or something like that. Like
Always to
those are all
mom.
mom questions. I
Yeah.
mean,
I kind of say the same. That like if it was something like I felt like a deep like guilt for or something that was really like
When I was 6
really
and I felt
bothering
that
me.
deep guilt.
When I
stabbed my
my
brother.
I asked the question on whether or not it was right or wrong.
Yeah.
Like normally I feel like I'd go to dad for that, or if I thought I needed prayer for something or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'd always go to mom for like comfort most of the time, or if I was sad or
Yeah.
yeah, I'd always go to mom all the time.
What about you,
I'm
Chan?
about to say, I think mine's completely different because I'm a girl.
Yeah.
I went to my dad for comfort
Yep.
a lot. I was Big Daddy's girl, but like me and you were best friends. Like we had a very, like not odd relationship. It was just different. Like we were really close. We
Yeah.
took lots of shopping trips and concerts and
Road trips.
road trips. Yeah, like we did things like that together. And me and Dad, like that was more
Sentimental.
fun.
It was more sentimental
Yeah, we
with
were.
him.
It was more sentimental.
Yeah.
We were more fun. Let's go to an amusement park and eat Cheesecake Factory afterwards. Me and Dad.
Yeah.
Let's listen to Van Halen with the top down, and go look at the Motor Mile and not buy a car. Just spend time together.
Drew,
and get a milkshake.
Since you've been in the family, how many years have y'all been married?
4.
4.
This year would be 5 years.
But you've been around us a long time. You've been in the ministry a long time.
Since
She's
he
been in
was
the
a
ministry
teenager.
15.
for 12 years.
Since he was 15, right?
16.
16. What would you say the difference in just being around us, hanging out?
I think they pretty much nailed it. He's the straightforward, rigid, disciplined.
Really?
He's going to be the same thing
Rigid?
every time
Yeah.
you see him.
Rigid. Wow.
Yeah, you are. Well,
You're on the
just
straight
Not rigid in a
you
not
get what
rigid's
you.
Yeah,
a manly word.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's
You're
like
firm in how
I don't know
what
if I
you
want
believe.
that on my tombstone though. He was rigid.
Yeah, you were. You were.
I'd go up
He
that
knows what he
tombstone and I'd say
likes.
that's a bad man right
I
there.
think what he means is you're more black and white.
Yes.
You're very black and
You
white.
don't shift.
There's
I'm like
no-
the Lord. I do not change. Right.
Okay.
There's no middle ground.
You're
What about me,
everlasting.
Drew? What about me? Come on, Drew.
You're really pretty.
Come on, Drew. Be nice, Drew.
I think you're very fun, very outgoing.
Yes, you are.
And-
Who's Chandler more like?
Oh yeah, that's pretty easy. She's just like you.
She's just like me.
Clone and y'all
Yes,
that's what I wanted to hear.
and y'all have a daughter just like her.
Yeah,
And
there's
she's,
3 of
yeah,
us.
that's some strong bloodline
So
running through
Jordan,
that.
what would you say about us? The differences.
Use a word besides
Brace
rigid.
yourself.
Brace yourself. Here she comes.
Just kidding.
I'll say one thing. They love Folgers coffee, and they always have. Like seriously, that is one thing.
It's been a consistent,
y'all have both
Can
consistent.
upgrade from Folgers.
Y'all have both consistent, right? But they've both consistently been, or I feel like y'all have values that have always stayed the same between you two. But I will say that like me and you are even closer than like me and my mom. You know, like you know more details, like, and we can talk deeper in everything. And then he would be, you know, I grew up without my dad like in my life for a majority of my childhood, you know, and when he met me, I was super young. So I feel like he was always just there as like support, fatherly, but obviously I don't have a connection with like his own children, but in my eyes, I would look at him as a father figure for me. And then I feel like we're just like really close, honest, and can be open with each other. And that honestly though has been key because
we've had some hard conversations over the years, but we know we love each other.
Yes, exactly,
So it's been,
exactly.
Here we go. Here's a hard one.
Yeah, here's the hard one. You need to do a hard one.
Okay, preacher's kids. 3 of you were preacher's kids.
Don't hurt us.
What's the what is one of the things that just stinks about being a
Don't
preacher's
be real
kid?
raw and relevant right here.
Chandler, you go first. It just stunk. It just stunk growing up.
There was no hiding. You couldn't like get away from it. You know what I mean?
Right.
No matter how hard you wanted to.
Sort of funny and sort of not.
Yeah.
There's no hiding.
You can't get away from it. Like I remember y'all talk, you know, I don't want to get deep into this, but y'all talk about Chase's addiction and his years, but you don't really talk about mine much. And I think that's because I'm your little girl. You know, kind of want to protect me more in that way. But I had years where I was like really rebellious and, you know, just kind of going crazy. But like even in that, I mean, I just remember driving down the road and I'd see someone with a phone, like taking a picture of me if I was like smoking a cigarette or, you know, something. And they would send pictures like, you know, I saw
You
Chandler
had
on
tons
Pelham
of
Road.
mom and dads looking
Everywhere.
out for y'all. Yes.
And that's a pro and a con
Yeah,
in
it is.
itself. Because at some points
when
I
you're
would
that
resent
age,
I
you
would resent
resented it. But now, I'm sure you're kind of
We
grateful
really
for
did.
some of the
Let
people
me
who
help. Let
loved
me
you
help
so
people
much.
understand the context. The city of Greenville, I don't know about the county, the city of Greenville, South Carolina, which is where we ministered 27 years, and my kids grew up, had 87,000 people. We had 22,000 people in
I
our
call
church.
it a little big town.
So you're talking about a fourth to a third of the entire population of a city had traffic through our church at some time or another. So the fact that you say we have eyes, that sounds funny, but actually people would call us all the time.
Yeah, they would.
I mean, call us all the time.
I saw Chandler, da-da-da-da.
I saw
Chase, da-da-da-da. I saw Chaz,
I remember that
whatever.
time Chase was not doing well at all with drugs. I had a cop call me who attended the church. Tell Chase to get out of that house now. A drug bust is about to go down. Tell him to get out. I mean, I had cops telling me stuff's about to go down. I know your son's car. Tell him to get out.
It was favor, honestly.
So
looking
y'all
back,
hated it, but some ways we needed it.
Yeah.
But sometimes them cops, they knew my name and they would be like, I'm gonna need you to step out of the vehicle. And I'm like, I only had one. Yeah, you know.
I'm gonna call your daddy.
There was times where like cops would give me some slack, and then you know,
that
but
is
there were,
true.
but more so of the time I had zero.
Yeah.
Zero
So
slack.
Chase, for you, it just stunk as a
But
kid.
after they had
being a
done seen you
preacher's
4
kid.
times that week, they were tired of seeing you. That was the thing.
They're like, when's he gonna get it?
Well, just growing up, I was at a critical age whenever the church really like exploded.
You were.
Yeah.
So, and I just remember the thing that I would, I mean, like look back on and can say that like kind of bothered me at the time was like y'all were gone a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, because you know, Dad was speaking and traveling and stuff, and you were going with him, or y'all just had a lot of stuff going on, you know, and I didn't really understand that then. You know, I was like, you know, like who are all these babysitters and like, you know, people staying the night and taking us to school sometimes, and I would just be like, you know, it just wasn't normal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would, I mean, that and expectations, like, you know, especially being the firstborn, like everybody was like, you know, you're going to be a pastor, you're going to do this, you're going to take the mic, and, you know, and that kind of.
That's a lot for a
Everyone
kid.
knows what you're going to do before you know.
Well,
It
you know,
makes
that's
you
a
struggle with
lot.
identity, too,
yeah,
you know?
for a kid.
Yeah, I just, and that, and all of that, I got tired of it, and I just started running, just really not doing anything church related or not really caring about God, because there was a time where I just kind of felt like God took my parents away from me, and I, you know, so I resented Him. I never was like upset or mad at my parents, because it was almost like I couldn't, because I felt like if I was like mad at them, then
That was
like
a
I was
big,
mad
like,
at God.
internal thing.
Yeah, I don't know. So because I know that they were doing what God had called them to do, so I was like, how can I be
You
mad
felt
at
like
that?
you weren't able
Yeah.
to feel those negative feelings
So,
about it. Yeah.
but now, I mean, if there was any issue as a child that I had, you know, with their parenting skills or whatever you call it, like it was settled years and years ago, and it really wasn't anything that would scar me or anything like that. It was, but
That's why
and I-
healing's important.
yeah,
though.
for
That's
sure, for
why you-
sure.
It wasn't a normal home.
It wasn't.
And I regret that if I could have changed it. But
If I can say something to that, I think that would be my biggest con, is that it just in general just wasn't normal, because now being married, having a family, you know,
With
when
somebody
I
who
think
didn't grow up
with-
in ministry.
we,
Yeah.
Drew and I, like, we have two totally different dynamics of how we grew up.
Yeah.
You know, and so trying to merge the two, he had, you know, in terms of normality, you know, and like a good home. Drew had a good, normal upbringing, you know, and I was used to going here and going there. We were just going a lot.
Yeah.
And if, you know, there was always big milestone moments that happened in your life, but they happened back to back, you know, things that would typically happen, you know, things that, you know, like would happen once in someone's life, it would happen multiple times in ours. You know, like just the things we went through growing up weren't typical.
Yeah.
And so trying to merge that into now in adulthood, into our own family, has been difficult for me.
Because what's normal to you wasn't normal to him. What was normal to him wasn't normal to you. Yeah. I see
Even
that.
simple, even very, very simple things like, Chase, I know you might not struggle with this, but as the woman of the house, we had people that helped a lot, because like Chase said, y'all were gone.
Yeah.
So we had people that would help clean, and, you know, nannies would making us dinner and stuff. So I didn't necessarily have home chores where I had to cook, clean, make the bed, do all this. So we get married and it's like, boom, here's 3 people's laundry, and you all have to have it done for this time because you have an event here, and you got, you know, and it's like,
Or you just need some clean underwear.
yeah, simply, like you have one sock that's white and the other one's like blue, and you're like, you know, so just
Sounds
very
like I'm not
simple.
doing it
They
because
never
the
cleaned
fairies
my
are going to
room.
come in.
It's very simple things in life that
They never.
Overwhelming.
You didn't
now.
let them in.
No, my room was always clean.
Oh. Chaz, what about you? What about a con growing up in our house?
Con, I mean, I'd say probably like having to always try to determine like who's genuine and like who's not genuine, and people trying to like get to know you or the way they treat you, because like, you know, being a pastor's kid, they're, especially if the first time they meet you, they already know you're a pastor's kid.
Yeah.
Whereas if you meet a stranger, it's like a different approach. So like if it's someone you know that they know you're a pastor's kid or they're in the church, they're just gonna come at you with like a different approach. So it's like you're always having to like come in there with like and try to determine and like who's genuine and
Who's
is
real?
this really how this person is? Like would they treat me differently if they didn't know I was a pastor's kid? So it's like it's crazy to see like when you just meet someone for the first time that doesn't know your history or your background, how they treat you versus someone in church, or you know, if you were to travel and go on things with y'all or with dad and people come up to you and they know who you are. It's just like, it's not bad. It's just, you just have to, for me, I always had to figure out and determine, like kind of put a guard up and be like, okay, well, this might not be this true person's colors. Cause you know, this is like a first interpretation of them. And they're talking to me basing basing me off of the fact that I'm a pastor's kid.
Yeah, I see that. And that's a lot to ask for a kid.
You have to like figure out who's genuine and who's not. And I think for a lot of, I would say for pastor, or at least for me, is like I didn't hang out. You know, if I'm just being honest, I didn't hang out with a lot of church people my age growing up. I had maybe a couple, but I always got along with people like in school and high school. And some of them a lot of them knew who we were because their parents went to church, but they didn't kind of have that expectation. It was just like, oh, it's Chaz. Like, this is the Chaz from school. Like,
yeah.
he likes the things I like. He likes to do like some of the things I do. Like, you know, he likes sports and he likes this kind of music or whatever. He likes to hang out on weekends and eat the same foods we do and all this kind of stuff. Whereas there's some people that are just super strict about that. And it's kind of like, you know, you feel like you can't be yourself. And I'm not saying like going off and doing bad things, like doing wrong and trying to sin. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying simply being able to enjoy who you are as an individual and your likes and your hobbies and all that without just having to always be super, super spiritual 24/7 around church people.
And I hate that.
That's kind of like a difference. Whereas a normal person, you don't have to worry about that. You are who you are, and people accept you for that without any sort of expectation.
That's why we all had such.
That's probably like the main con, because everything else, you know, if you ask me, I've loved it. I've loved being, you know, I love who my parents are, and I've loved being raised by you guys because you taught me so much. And I mean, we wouldn't be where we are today, and we wouldn't be doing this podcast and allowing people to learn from us. So
that's true.
But that's probably my main con, is just the expectations and always trying to put your guard up and see who's really there, who really likes you for who you are and who doesn't.
That's good, Chaz.
And
that's a lot.
For a kid.
It is. It's a lot to ask.
It's a lot to ask.
I think it's an age-old problem with pastors' kids. I mean, it's the nature of people. You want to shield your kids from that. I think that's one of the reasons that I didn't make my kids like toe the line. It's because I didn't want to make them feel like they had to be perfect. You know, I didn't want them to feel like, okay, your room has to be just like this and you got to go to every church service. I'm going to get you a babysitter so you don't have to go, so you don't feel that pressure, or I'm not going to make you be in the church choir and make you do this and make you do that. But, I mean, I'm sure, as we've heard, you know, that's hindered our kids in some areas when I was trying to protect them.
Mm-hmm. But looking back on it, like, I'm like glad, because my kids now complain all the time. Every time I pick them up from school, do we have to go to church? Do we have to go to church? Do we have to go to church? Because they have to come, and, you know, I will say, now that I'm older, thank you for the babysitters.
Okay, let me ask a question.
I got one I want to ask.
You ask.
Let me ask Drew and Jordan. I'm nervous to ask this.
Uh-oh.
But our world is obviously, like you said, it's much different from Drew's, much different from your Jordan. It's this world of glass house.
Yep.
It's this world of opinion. It's this world of, there's 16,000 comments after Sunday, and people are railing you, raking you out, and preachers and sneakers and everything else. Everybody's got an opinion. So how has it been difficult for y'all, I guess, entering our world, because you can't totally get away from it?
No.
There is an association just by you married our children that it connected to it, and it has to touch you in some way. I just wonder how it's affected you. And it don't necessarily have to be bad.
No.
It may have been a blessing to you. I don't know. But how has it affected y'all guys?
Jordan?
Well, me and Chase, when we came together, obviously we were really young, and growing up with, you know, my mom, basically. It was my mom, my sister, just us two, all three girls. And then, you know, my dad was in and out, drugs. So therefore, my mom raised us to be very strong women. And basically, like, not as in, there's a reason that you guys call me, you know, I used to be way more upfront about my attitude, basically, and how I felt. I remember one of the first experiences that I had with the glass house concept Chandler mentioned is whenever I was on Facebook, and girls would try to flirt with my man. And I would blast them, just call them out, be very immature about it, which is very immature even now, even if you're not in a pastor's family. But I remember, Hope talking to me, and I was like mad. I'm like, why do I have to adjust who I am? But obviously I realized that you don't have to be aggressive with everything you do and everything you say, and you don't have to air your dirty laundry, but I just remember that's like a key memory, here. And I just know that like over these years, it's truly just, I feel like it's been a lot of pressure even on like me as just being Chase's wife, because I see the expectations, and I
just
hear
the last name.
It
and I
chips
hear
away
people,
at your freedom a little
It
bit.
does.
yeah, and even like down to looking at things on like Facebook, like if somebody posted an article and I know them, I know you guys better than anybody else that's even on staff that's known them for longer, just because we've had that personal experience like being at home. But I can't go on Facebook and take up for them. Yeah. Because my husband, or people saying things about me and Chase just because they're there, just, it could be anything.
Your personal freedoms are
and you
chipped away.
literally have to alter the way your mindset thinks, and just have
Humility.
it really is though.
Humility.
And you have to I always have it in my head, like even when it comes to them traveling and us not getting more time with them, I always say, and that sucks. We would love to have more time with them, but I've learned though over the years that God makes every single one of us sacrifice something. And you know what? Apparently for the world, we've got to sacrifice time with the people that we love. So that's what I look at it as, and that I think that people should be more appreciative and less judgmental on the families like this, because you guys and us, it's hard.
It is
It's hard out here.
It's hard out here in these Carpenter streets.
It's a lot harder than
Opinions are hard.
Yeah.
And I don't care how mature you are, how old you, how much you've had to deal with it. They hurt.
It does get easier though. It's like, but
You get
since
used
you live
to
with
it.
it, you just don't
You
really
get used to it, but when you know in your heart, you really try to do the right thing, and you really try to do right by people, and you get somebody who totally and completely misunderstands you or don't understand
or
you,
we
just rips
personally
you. It's
can like
tough.
hear a conversation. Like I know Drew and I both probably agree on this, like we're there for the conversation, but then somebody will twist it behind it, and we can't and like not being able to be like, y'all don't even know them, like, or like getting in somebody's face and being upset about it. Like you can't. Legitimately can't, because then what are they gonna do? They're gonna go and say, oh, that, have you heard about them carpenters? About your attitude and how, those carpenters have this, or they're act like this, Jordan acts like this.
That's something you taught me really young.
And you don't want, like, also, you definitely don't want that reputation, but we can't even like leave room for error for that reputation to come out. So
what about you, Drew?
Drew, how has it affected you?
Yeah, it's been.
the feelings cereal bowl.
No, it's been really great. Obviously, the transition into the family has been great. I said that there, but I've had opportunities, have arisen just because of connections, I'm sure. And like I say, what Chaz said was probably the hardest aspect of joining the family, which was like when people just started, treating you different. Obviously, because you had I don't know if it was connections. You had the ability to say things. You had the ability to voice something that maybe they couldn't. And a lot of people maybe thought that whenever you married into the family that you take on, every single belief that you guys have as far as, how things should be done, how the decisions that are made, maybe that we're all in the room making them, but when you marry into the family, you're not necessarily making all those decisions, and I think that's what's hard for most people to understand throughout the church and in the congregation.
Yeah, that we're not perfect, are we?
Well, and that we can't control whether or not those decisions were perfect or
But
not.
it's been a blessing, I will say, at the end of the day, right? Like he said, after everything, I've met some of the greatest friends I could have ever had. I've met some of the most amazing motherly figures that truly, but I've also met some people that use us, like he said, and that sucks.
But if you put it on a scale, Does the
Hopefully,
good outweigh
hopefully.
the bad?
I hope it does.
It overflows.
Yeah,
in that
Chaz,
area.
good outweigh the bad. I hope it does. So one word to describe how you feel about being a carpenter. Chaz, go.
I feel blessed.
Jordan.
Absolutely blessed.
Proud.
Proud, yep.
Chanlin.
Oh man.
One word only, Chanlin. Kenny G, one word.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
That one.
Rigid.
Yes.
No.
Probably like different, but in a good way. In a really good way.
Okay.
You know, it's just
It's different.
that's my whole just as me.
Outspoken, basically, kind of just different.
Yeah, just different.
Drew, one word.
Loved.
Love. Oh. That
let
made
these
my
people go.
day.
We need
All
to
right.
let these
Well,
people go.
real quick. All right, Chaz. Your dad. Is he quiet or loud?
He's more quiet.
Okay. Drew, is Ron, does he like country or rock?
Country.
I can sing it, can't I? I can sing it.
Chanlin, is your daddy a morning person or a night person?
Well, that depends. He does work, like he works better in the morning, but he does stay up really, really late at night.
He's a night
I do.
person.
They know me.
Chase, does your daddy like the beach or the mountains?
Oh God.
Come on, Chase.
Dad likes the mountains.
What? Chase. Bonk.
Come on.
What?
No.
Dad always talks
No, he
about going to the
loves the
mountains. What are you
beach.
talking about?
Chase, all right, what is
That's
it,
a
beach or
hard one.
mountain?
Chase liked the Gatlinburg. That's why he's saying that.
Chase like Fanny Cherokee.
Chase wanted to go Cherokee.
Maggie Valley. He wanted to ride sword.
Yeah, I
Ride those things.
I just wanted a
He
sword.
wanted to go to Maggie Valley and get some moccasins.
And go to medieval times.
All right, Jordan, last one.
Jesus.
Ron,
Roasted.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke, for sure.
Yes. Guys, it's been awesome. I love my kids.
This is our family. This is behind the curtain. This is non-stage. This is away from church, and this is the way our life is. The only thing you don't see is these amazing grandchildren.
Oh, we need to have one with those.
Oh, we need to bring them up here.
would be loud.
It wouldn't be 40 minutes. It'd be about 4 minutes probably
Yeah.
before we could take it. But anyway,
Well, I was doing my
love-
prayer this morning, and Aria and Roland bust in my office.
On your riff.
Gigi, my prayer time.
Live.
And they're in my, but everybody loved them.
yes. Good.
Guys, we love our kids so much. I love you. I just
Thank
want
you
you
for
to
hooking up,
know
Chaz. Thank you, Jordan Chase.
publicly how much
Thank
we
you,
love
Drew
you,
Boo.
what
see
you've
y'all
been,
next
what you've
time.
endured, what you've gone through. But we do. Me and your daddy talked about it for all of you, Drew. And when we say our kids, we say that about
Yeah,
you, Drew. We
yeah.
say that about Jordan. We feel like you're ours. God gave you to us as our kids too. But we believe your next days are your best days.
And we're so
We really
proud of
do,
you.
and we are so proud of you.
So
And we
proud.
can't wait to see what all God has in store for you. Guys, it's been awesome being here. Unfiltered, real, raw, relevant. Join us. Go download, share with your friends. We love you. We'll see you next time.